Welcome to this new lesson. In this lesson, we will create images from the titles of the returned meals. So for each meal in the breakfast, dinner, and lunch, we will create an image for all of these. We will use the DALL-E model from OpenAI. Okay, so let's go to Visual Studio Code. So here, last time we did is that we extracted the meal titles and then we extracted the meals themselves. Now what we want to do is to create a function to create an image. Now we will call that function in a loop 3 times, 1 for each image. So let's go and declare this function. So this is the function create meal image. It takes the title and the extra is empty by default. In the extra you can put something like black or white background or something extra you need in the image. We will just use the title, but it is available in case we will need it. Okay, then we will define the image prompt. It is a string. These are backticks because we are accessing JavaScript objects within the string. We specify the title, which is the title that we parsed from the meals. Extra, if you want to have anything like white background. Then high quality food photography. So we are telling it to generate a high quality food photography. Okay, then we will make the create image call. So OpenAI object create image. It is await because it takes time and the response is saved in an image. Now we pass a JavaScript object with the following parameters. Prompt, which is image prompt that we defined here. Then n, which is the number of images to generate. We will go with the default, which is 1. And then the size which we want, which is 1024 times 1024. We have only 3 options, 256 times 256, 512 times 512, or 1024 times 1024. And this is what we use. Then I add the console log. For testing, I'll keep it commented out for the moment. Then I save the URL of the image in this constant. So this is the return value data of 0 because we specified 1, so we have 1 image. And this is the URL of the image. We save it here. And now we just return it. So that's our create image function. It returns a URL of the image. And it takes the title of the meal, any extra, and that's it. You just generate an image from this information. Okay, let's go up and call this function. As you can see here, we are printing the meals, the titles, and the meals list. So I will comment this out. Okay, now we get the meals list from the exact meals function. Now we need to loop over each of these objects and generate an image based on the title of that list. So that's what we do here. As you can see, we have the meals list. This is the list. We have the map function. The map function calls an anonymous function for each element, for all elements in the meals list. So this map function will be called for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. During each call, it will pass the corresponding meal. Now inside this corresponding meal, we will create an image. Now, because that's an asynchronous call that will take time, so all of them return promises. We save this list of promises, which are 3 promises returned from here. We save them in this array, and then we will have to wait on them to finish before we return from this function. Now, in this anonymous function, what we do actually is that we call the create image function. The meal is specified for us, so we get the title, which is this title. We get this title and pass it to the create image method. We also specify the extra. This is the create image method. It takes the title, and this is the extra. So for the extra, we select white background. So that will call this create image function. Now this create image is synchronous, so it will return a promise. So we will attach then a block on this promise that is returned from the create image, which we return finally here. So we attach an anonymous function with the then a block. Of course, this function, this anonymous function, will get the URL, which is this image URL that we are passing here. So first, let's store this URL. So this URL, which is returned from here, is saved in the meal, this meal, in the URL key, which is this URL key. Now, when we save it, we just return. So now, of course, we can also handle the error function. So that's why we attach the catch, in which we will just log the error and return the meal anyway. Then we have got all the promises which will be resolved later, so that will take time. So what we do now here is that we await for all the promises, for all these promises to return, just to make sure that the images has been created. Then we just return this meals list. So now our function returns, which is create healthy meals, returns a list of all meals. Now each list is a JavaScript object that contains the title, the description, and the URL of the generated image. Of course, this is a synchronous function, so we need to wait for it to finish. So now we go to the playground. So here we attach then a block. And in this then block, we get the meals which are returned here. The meals that we returned here, they will be given to us here, and we will console log these meals. Now let me try this. I will do clear for the command prompt. Then I will run the application. It will take even more time now because it's going to generate the images as well as to get the ChatCompletion, which contains the 3 meals. Okay, so as you can see now, we are getting the list of meals. So this first one, this was the old one, sorry. These are the new ones with the URLs. So let me click on one of these. So this is the image. You can see it is in white background. Let's check another one. This one was this one. Okay, so now our API is complete. We are creating the meals options with the titles, and we are creating an image from each title of the meals. Next, we will convert this to a REST API and then call it from the web application.